Good morning. Gregory Moore from the Southern Intercollegiate Athletic Conference. Would you like to testify?
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the Higher Education Committee. I'd like to thank this committee for according me the opportunity to share my views in connection with this very important issue. First, by way of background, my name is Gregory Moore. I currently serve as Commissioner of the Southern Intercollegiate Athletic Conference. It's a 106-year-old NCAA athletic conference consisting of 14 colleges and universities located in 6 states. I was born in Newark, New Jersey, educated at New Jersey Public Elementary, Junior High School, and high schools, and I'm a proud graduate of the College of New Jersey. I'm also a member of the New Jersey State Bar, who many years ago worked in this very building as an attorney with the Office of Legislative Services, or OLS. So in a very real sense, this is a bit of a homecoming for me. And although I currently reside in Atlanta, Georgia, I still proudly consider myself a Jersey guy. Let me just say for the record, I do support this idea in the abstract, the idea of allowing student athletes to have the opportunity to monetize their name, images, and likenesses as the economy of college sports continues to grow. The relationship between the economic value created by student athletes and the economic related benefits enjoyed by these athletes has become increasingly tenuous. And although the notion of directly compensating student athletes would be complicated, I do, however, believe permitting student athletes to monetize their name, images, and likenesses would be a constructive step to help facilitate a better equilibrium between the economic value created by student athletes and their ability to share in the value they create. However, as legislative bodies proceed down a path which is primarily focused on the 65 universities that are members of the so-called Power 5 conferences, the Big Ten, the SEC, the ACC, the Big 12, the Pac-12, I would respectfully urge legislators to proceed with great caution and circumspection, as there are an array of potential unintentional consequences that could undermine the fabric and integrity of intercollegiate athletics and negatively impact smaller colleges and universities, which represent the supermajority of the 1,100 Division I, II, and III NCAA member institutions. The American tradition of college sports is the most unique system in the world. College football Saturdays, homecomings, bowl games, March Madness, championship events at the Division I, II, and III levels galvanize communities across the country in ways that are quite distinct and different from professional sports leagues and organizations. Allowing students to monetize name, image, and likenesses should not come at the expense of these uniquely American traditions as a result of certain unintended consequences. For example, a critical distinction that differentiates college sports from professional sports relates to the issue of direct compensation of athletes. Obviously, within the context of professional sports, athlete compensation trigger very few of the concerns which student athlete compensation might raise, perhaps relating to Title IX, or the unintentional creation of new class of employees, which could have tax, labor relations, and even perhaps collective bargaining implications. And although both the New Jersey bill and the California law explicitly prohibit colleges and universities from directly compensating student athletes, both this bill and the California law are silent with respect to prohibiting boosters or donors of a university from doing the same on behalf of the universities, camouflaged or disguised as a marketing agreement. In those situations, and in many instances, it would be nearly impossible to discern whether such arrangements were based on the real market value of a student athlete's name, image, or likeness, or whether such arrangements were simply intended to serve as an illicit inducement to induce a student athlete to attend a certain university, an arrangement which is illegal in many states. Further, as an NCAA conference commissioner who does not represent any of the 65 Power 5 institutions, but rather 14 smaller institutions which are far more representative of the more than 1,000 colleges and universities that are not in the high investment athletic departments, who don't enjoy 8-figure annual media rights distributions or appear on national TV on a regular basis. We must remain mindful of the potential impacts this bill could have on smaller colleges. For example, many small colleges are able to attract student athletes to our campuses because we're able to provide more opportunities to play right away. The lure of playing time could be diminished if more student athletes are able to leverage the platform which larger Division I schools could provide athletes to exploit their marketing rights. Conversely, for those student athletes which smaller schools are able to attract directly out of high school, an unfettered opportunity to monetize name, image, and likeness rights could serve as an additional carrot that larger schools could dangle to cherry-pick talent from smaller institutions. Both examples above could lead to an increased concentration of resources and athletic talent at high investment athletic programs at the expense of the supermajority of NCAA member institutions, which constitute its more than 1,100 members. For these and additional reasons, I urge the committee to proceed with great caution and work with intercollegiate thought leaders to ensure that the laws enacted are enacted in a manner that protects the integrity of college sports and mitigates the potential harmful impacts which the law could have on smaller colleges. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. Would you provide us with a copy of your comments?
Sure.
I don't think we have them.
Sure.
And I will make sure that the sponsor receives them as well.
Thank you.
Are there any questions for this? Yes. Gentlemen?
Not having been a college athlete, the booster aspect never gave me, it didn't occur to me. But so in your opinion, for example, let's just assume that Notre Dame were to make it known that every person who attended on an athletic scholarship would get a car for endorsing, or as an endorsement from by endorsing a local dealership or what have you, and that was pretty well known. That would be permitted under the bill as you read it.
No, that's directly explicitly prohibited by both the New Jersey bill and the California law. The booster club says any person who goes to Notre Dame on an athletic scholarship and plays football will get a contract with the local dealership, and in compensation will get a car. That would be fair under this bill? As I read the bill, that would be fair, but it would be to me, I would look at that as a transparent attempt to circumvent the rules that prohibit inducements, direct payments to the athletes. So it would be subject to interpretation, and I think that would probably fall on the side of be interpreted as an inducement for student athletes. In your experience, because I've read some stories over the years about the, shall we say, efforts to evade rules and regulations by boosters. Is it your view that this bill is insufficiently specific as to how to avoid that? The truth of the matter is that a lot of the efforts that are used to circumvent the bylaws are done by the schools themselves. And the boosters are used as agents to effectuate the circumvention of those rules. Unfortunately, the colleges themselves, who are the subject of major infraction cases, are very actively involved in trying to circumvent the bylaws governing these affairs. Presumably none of your members. At Division II level, the stakes aren't as high. You're looking at athletic departments that normally have a budget in the amount of $5 to $6 million. Division I institutions are looking at, particularly Power 5 institutions, between $80 and $200 million. The stakes are much higher, which also raises the incentive to try to cut corners.
I want to thank you very much, and we would very much appreciate a copy of your comments, which can be distributed to all the members of the committee.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Moore.
Thank you.